thought I'd film a video today about, there's several things that revolve around what I'm going to talk about. One is my life story. Two, suicide, ideation, thoughts, actions. And three, bullying and how it's not acceptable to me. When I was 3 months, I came down with cancer, and that really hurt my parents, and they were stressed. They didn't know what to do. I was also adopted at 3 months in that time. So I came down with 3 different types. It was leukemia, LCH, Langerhans cell disease, and JHG, juvenile xanthogranuloma. I'll add some pictures down below. And when my parents first heard this, they were like, okay, what are we going to do? I guess we're just going to have to go through the treatment and see how God does this outcome and everything. But when the doctors told my parents, they said, we have never seen something like this before. We have never seen what she has. She has lesions in her ankles, all of her bones. She has a tumor forming in the right side, which was up around here on my frontal lobe, and she has a 33% chance of dying and 79% chance of living. So that on the odds are pretty strange and bad, and my parents were stressed, so they'd spend nights by my bed, hospital bed, praying with me, and hoping God would heal me. I had 12 rounds of chemo, 4 rounds of radiation. I finally got cleared at 4.5, so it was like maybe 3 to 4 years I was in the hospital back and forth. We lived in Jackson, Tennessee then, so it was really hard because we had to drive like an hour away to get to the hospital and everything, but Vanderbilt was our only hope. Thank you, Vanderbilt staff and nurses. They're like amazing, so I recommend y'all go there if anything happens, checkups and everything. So after I got cleared at 4.5, before 4.5, I had 2 heart surgeries, 1 brain surgery, and the brain surgery was to take the right tumor out because it was getting pretty big. And so me now, I have frontal lobe scarring, which it's made a bad impact on my life, but I'm overcoming several things. So no matter what you go through and what the outcomes are, just find a way to cope with it, find a way to deal with it. Life's gonna get better. So till I was about 7, I was isolated from, I guess, the world and all the kids and everything. And I eventually developed social anxiety, social issues, because basically after 7, I got put in elementary. I went from there, and so it all begun in 5th grade when I was finally in a public school. I was around people, so from my brain injury, traumatic brain injury, I guess the way it affected my brain, since the tumor was there and now there's scarring over it, I was diagnosed with social anxiety, social issues, ADHD. I was on the spectrum of autism. I may not look like I'm special needs or autistic. That's because I'm on the higher functioning part. So I would say things without thinking. I would do things without thinking, like let's say I was like 10. So as a 10-year-old, I was really in my mind about 7 or 8. I wasn't exactly there yet, like the other 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds. And so in 5th grade, it started at Stoner Creek Elementary. I got bullied to the point of I would cry and have fits every day going to elementary school. My mom, she didn't know what was up. Doctors, didn't tell them quite yet about my diagnosis and everything. So we didn't know. So she just forced me to go in. She had to walk me in, whether it be me kicking, screaming, crying, aggression, everything. I got called the most worst names. I got called a bitch, a hoe. I got called a slut. I got called a faggot. I remember 5th grade, a boy named Bailey passed me a note, and it said I was a faggot. So me personally, not knowing what I was doing wrong because I was so young and my mind was mentally behind in age, I didn't get it. I didn't get why they were saying it, the stuff all that stuff. So I'd come home crying. I was depressed. And so as 5th grade went on, I dropped out and I started to get homebound, not homeschooled. Homebound is where a teacher comes to your house and everything. And after I was homebound, I entered middle school, which was West Wilson Middle School, another public school. Okay, so we were like, okay, now she seems a little bit better. We're just going to throw her in 6th grade. So 6th grade, it was okay. As I reached 7th grade, that's when I took the biggest challenges of my life. I was low self-esteem, putting myself down, but before any of that happened, I was verbally, physically, and cyberbullied because I was still not there yet. I was maybe 15 this time, and I was 12 or 13, like a few years behind still. We still didn't know I wasn't on medications, like ADHD, urges medications. I wasn't on bipolar medication. We still didn't get to the bottom of it. We were wondering what was going on. So as it built up to 8th grade, I was pushed into lockers, stuff knocked out of my hands. I'd walk and somebody would trip me. I'd get stabbed with things. I'd go in the restroom. There would be groups surrounding me. They'd be pushing me back and forth. I'd try to get out of the mess and everything, and they wouldn't. So basically, I went to the teachers. I started telling them what was going on, and the teachers didn't care. Public school teachers, they don't care at all. Like, they'll listen to what you're going to say, but then they're like, okay, we'll take care of this, and they don't. They don't want anything to do with it because they don't like drama, but on the other hand, they need to start taking care of stuff because it really made my parents mad. About the middle of 8th grade, I dropped out again, and I started being homeschooled. So we were like, she's going through a lot right now. So that's when my depression kicked in. 7th and 8th grade, I started trying to attempt because I was seeing it on the news. I was hearing other kids were dying from it. And so I felt like that was the only way that could cure my depression. I started cutting. I tried to jump out of the car on an interstate. I tried to hang myself. I tried to take medications. I went to the hospital several times to get stomach pumps or mental health institutions to get myself better. We still didn't know what was quite going on. So that's when Mom finally got me to Vanderbilt back again, and she started scheduling me to go see my counselor, Jessica Danisco. And that's when we found out I was, besides ADHD and autistic stuff and anxiety, I was diagnosed with bipolar, which is where you're high 1 second, you're low the other second. So I was going through that. But also, on the other hand, the kids at the school didn't understand me, and the situation didn't help what they were doing because it was causing more stuff on me. When it was 8th grade, I finally reached the point where I had 3 friends die of suicide. And I'm not going to say any names, but I was at my wit's end, and I couldn't stop attempting. I couldn't stop threatening to kill myself. And so basically nowadays people think that if you don't look autistic, if you don't look like you're on the special needs spectrum, you're not special needs. You haven't had a trauma. You haven't had this or this happen to you. Well, let me correct you and let me correct that. That's absolutely not true. If you don't know somebody and you start bullying them for no reason, just because you see them say one thing wrong, say another thing, well, you're wrong, and that's something you should not do, because nowadays it triggers me, and I will stand up for myself. I didn't have the guts back then to stand up for myself. And me, I'm almost first year in college. I'm going to study for special education and paramedic because I feel like my trauma, and also people nowadays who don't give a care about special needs, and stuff, and even non-special needs, but on the higher autism spectrum, I feel like I can help them because I have a high tolerance, and I know how to deal with them, and I know treating people unfair is not right. I'm the kind of person who never judges, and just because they look different, just because they say something, it doesn't mean you need to put a wall, a boundary between them when you haven't even met them. Like, I'd go into groups, I'd go into several places, and I'd get stares, and I'd be like mean, hateful look stares, and I'd be like, I'm new in my head, why are you giving me the stare at it? And then they treat me bad. They don't even know who I am. Personally, I'm a compassionate person, and I really do care. A lot of people don't like me. A lot of people have held grudges on me. Well, you know what? Get it right. That's in the past, and this world is not a good place anymore. It's not somewhere people like to be, and it's But also, on the other hand, you can find your good side. You can focus on new parts, new things that you are building up. So basically, I'd see the cheerleaders in middle school. I'd see the cheerleaders in high school. I'd see all the sports teams. I tried to make the cheer team, but apparently they said, cut, I'm too autistic, and I don't have the moves right. You never succeed in anything. You always fail. I'd get those words all the time, so I didn't make the cheer team. And that's when I came to discover in 9th grade that I had a music talent, which I have this guitar and I have 3 others. I play 11 instruments so far. My main are piano, guitar, ukulele, and violin. I play those by ear. I sing and I perform now. I'm very happy with myself. I've written 61 songs and I'm trying to get those published and everything. I'm really working hard. I have a scholarship in music from Blair. There's a lot of things about me that I've discovered that, you don't have to be some popular cheerleader to be liked. You don't have to be on some sports team. You don't have to be on an everyday basis thing that people recognize you for, like I said, cheerleading or the dance team. You can have your own unique talents and your own way of doing things, and you can stand out and shine, and you can be yourself still. I just wanted to lay it out there that I have an amazing boyfriend. Not to brag or anything, but he likes me for who I am. He knows my story, and he knows I've been through a lot. And he even said to me last night he didn't care if his other friends didn't like us dating. And if they didn't and they started to treat him bad, he was done with them. No matter who you are, what you've been through, there's always going to be things you can change and you can't change. And there's going to be things you're going to go through in life that's going to suck like ass. I'm just putting that out there. And nowadays, all you hear is like suicide, committing suicide. This guy tried to do this. This girl did this. Mental health institutes are bad. Well, people who commit suicide are basically trying to hide their emotions. They're not wanting to talk about it. They're not wanting to get help. I guess I was in that state too, and I still get those feelings. I still get bullied. I still have other things I have to overcome personally and by myself. Or, I have things I know I can't change and I'm diagnosed, and I can learn how to, live with them with coping skills, whether it be playing my music, whether it be my socialness. Like, I love to talk, I love to film, I love to dance, and there's going to be things that you can change. They can be like habits. They can be OCD habits, it can be several things. So, I guess you guys just gotta hang in there. It's getting too much for me because I'm the kind of person who's really emotional, and if someone even commits suicide and you see it on TV, I break into tears. Even if I don't know that person, I'm just so devastated. It's a person, it's a human being. Like I said, I don't know him or her, I don't know their story, but I know they were going through something that is really bad. But it's kind of like, don't bottle your feelings up. Don't bottle your emotions up. And bullying, on the other hand, that is absolutely wrong. Nowadays, kids get bullied for, dwarfism, for autism, for, you don't look right. You're not this. You're not this clique. You're not popular. You're not nerdy, so you can't come in our group. Well, you know what? Don't listen to them. Make yourself happy. You cannot make anybody else happy but yourself. You cannot change anybody else. You can give advice. That's what I've learned. I have been through so many counselings, sessions since I was it started in 8th grade, and now I'm in 12th. I'm about to graduate in 14 days. And I just sit there at the beginning, and I'd be like, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong in my head. I'm not going to talk because I'm the victim. I'm the one who's doing everything right and they're doing it wrong. Well, you know what? I was pointing out and I was saying everybody's doing things wrong until I discovered that, look, you can't just say you're a victim. You can't just sit there quietly. It takes 2 people to start something. And, I said some things, and it may have been me who have started some things, but on the other hand, I have to know that I didn't know what I was doing then. I was diagnosed with several things, and you just take life one step at a time. You're going to get to where you want to be, even though it may seem in the worst moments. You have to go through hurt to get through healing. And if it doesn't seem like the end, then it's not the end. There's going to be positive roads that are going to come up in your life that you may not even know yet. Like if you're single, don't get in a relationship that's bad just to like show off. Don't get in a relationship that you think the guy doesn't care and everything just because you want to go out. You want to grab attention. You want to tell everybody that I have a boyfriend, I have this, I have that. And don't lie to get attention or anything. It's better to wait for things and get it the right way instead of jumping into things too quickly. But basically, that's my story. I kind of summed it up really short and everything. But, I mean, I can't admit, I still have problems nowadays with my feelings. I lie to get attention. It's not as often, but I still get hurt so many times. And, you know, sometimes you just try to text people and you're like, look, I'm feeling this way. Is there a way to help? And they're like, oh, well, life sucks. Deal with it and quit being a drama queen. You're going to get that. Don't worry about that. I mean, it hurts. People tell you to not even think about it. Forget what happened and blah, blah, blah. Well, how can you forget about it, you know, if it happens like 24/7 all the time? That's not going to work. So you just got to pull yourself out of what you're in, the negativity, find the positive, and then, you know, use your coping skills, whether it be color guard, cheerleading, music, reading, writing, just anything in the moment. But don't commit suicide. Don't bully because you're upset with yourself or you're unhappy or you're low self-esteem. Don't do any of that. Accept people for who they are. Accept people who are special needs. Accept people who, you know, you may not see on the outside that they look Down syndrome or they look special needs, but they may have a trauma. They may have abusive lifestyle at home. They may have an alcoholic parent. They may have an alcoholic aunt or uncle. They may have things going on that you don't know about. So maybe just at least sit down and talk with them, like say, look, I don't like what you said to me, or why are you going around saying these things? Do not point them out in public of like a middle of a classroom. Just pull them to the side and say, you know, hey, maybe I could help you, or like start a conversation. And nowadays the world isn't good. I'm going to admit that. But, you know, it's kind of like suck it up. And the only thing you could do is focus on yourself. Do not focus on anybody else, but focus on yourself before you go to others, because it's just like if you were on an airplane, a mom and 3 kids. If the airplane crashes and there's no oxygen and you have an oxygen mask under your seat, who are you gonna give the oxygen mask first to? It's gonna be yourself, not the kids, because you have to get yourself prepared to help the kids. You're not gonna get to the kids and put it on yourself, because the kids will be they'll be doing their thing and then you'll die and pass out. So, because there's always other times for helping and everything. But I just want to lay that out there. I'm against bullying. I'm against shootings. I'm against judgment. I'm against all of that. As me growing up with a brain traumatic injury, going through all the hell I've been through, also have seizures and like just stuff like that that's preventing me from several things. And my parents fight. There's a lot going on. And, you know, but it's kind of like you look at it as the aftermath. But it's always going to get better. I just want to let y'all know that. And suicide is not the option. Suicide is not the answer. Even though you feel like people don't care in the moment, there are people that care. And there's going to be people that are going to care in your life, maybe later, that you don't see yet. I mean, God has a plan. God has a lot going on for you that you may not know about yet. So just be yourself and focus on who you are, you know. Focus on what you want to do in life. Like me, like I said, paramedic and helping save lives, and special ed teacher, because other people have treated me bad and other special needs bad. So I feel like I can put an end to it. I can stop it. So I'll be filming more videos like this about different topics. Y'all can ask me down below. I guess ask me questions or ask me to talk about more topics, because I'm a debating type of person. Like if someone, like the shootings, for example, they say, okay, well, this is one of the rules on the commandment, we need to take it off. Well, no, we don't, because, you know, we still need weapons. If people try to shoot or they try to attack us, the teachers need guns in their desk. You know, I love to debate. So I guess goodbye, and I hope this helped. remember, stay strong.